Her fingers trembled uncontrollably. There was thunder in her heart, and her throat was dry. Trying to calm her body, she whispered, "Breathe." As she looked again, she held back tears. Why did this happen? How could no one have known for over 19 years? She knew she had to call 911, but before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. The thick oak door was closed as she walked out of the room. As tears streamed down her cheeks, her eyes stung. Thinking she'd made a mistake, she looked around. It wasn't long before the authorities arrived. Her twin sister, Mom, and Dad needed to know what she found. All of this needed to be revealed. Lena Conley never imagined she would find this in her late grandfather's house. In fact, she hadn't even intended to wander into her grandpa's bedroom when she came here to pick up a few items for her mom. As a curious soul, she had found herself twisting the doorknob and peeping in. There was a damp and stuffy feeling in the air. Darkness covered the place, making it solemn and serene. When Lena turned on the lights, everything changed. In his living room, Lena's grandpa preferred to sleep on the couch instead of in his marriage bed. There was no secret about that. She and her sister, Marion, always thought it sad. However, none of them ever mentioned it. Their theory was that he couldn't sleep in that bed since it belonged to him and his grandmother. It pains him to remember all that pain now that Grandma is no longer with us. The two didn't realize how wrong they were. Lena and Marion Conley enjoyed a wonderful childhood in Vermont. Their grandparents looked up to them as the apple of their eyes when they were born in the picturesque town of Burlington at the turn of the century. Known for his eccentricities and love for his family, their grandfather, Mr. Godwin Conley, was respected in the community. The twins' grandmother, Grandma Conley, disappeared when they were just toddlers, leaving them with a mysterious presence. Despite whispers and speculations surrounding their grandmother's disappearance, Lena and Marion's parents shielded them. Throughout their childhood, the twins never questioned their grandfather's peculiar habits, accepting them as part of growing old. In spite of the things they saw, they let them slide. Their grandfather's life secrets weren't revealed until they were in the girls' 20s. Lena and Marion remained close to Mr. Conley despite the passage of time. With memories of the past and the scent of his apple pie, they treasured the moments spent at his charming home. As Lena grew older, a peculiar detail caught her eye: the forbidden entry into Grandpa Conley's bedroom and his strange sleeping habits. As Lena observed that her grandpa avoided sleeping in his bedroom and avoided any discussion about it, the mystery deepened. In the house, the locked room remained a silent enigma. Despite Lena's best efforts, she couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story than meets the eye. Even stranger was the fact that Lena's grandfather stayed away from beds altogether. The guest room was prepared for her and Marion every time they visited him as children, and they slept in the living room during their visits. It was always his preference to sleep on the couch when he visited their home, or even when they joined him on family trips. There was something amiss. Of course, Grandpa Conley didn't sleep in a bed for a variety of reasons. More theories were proposed about why he always locked his bedroom. However, no one dared express their opinion. This theory had been whispered behind Grandpa Conley's back when he was absent, as he commanded such fear and respect. There would be a time when he would no longer be here. As the years passed, the twins became more determined to uncover the secrets their grandfather guarded. By now, they'd concluded that he never slept in a bed because he missed his wife, their grandma. He would never lay his head on a bed she wasn't in. They'd pieced together pieces of information from his stories and what they'd heard around town. But the truth would be more heartbreaking. Lena and Marion grew, and as the years passed, their curiosity grew. As they turned 26, their mom called them with heart-wrenching news. Their grandpa, the resilient and equally eccentric Mr. Godwin Conley, had passed away in his sleep. His house help and nurse came in to find him unresponsive, with his wife's picture clutched tightly against his chest. This was truly the end of a formidable era. Mr. Godwin Conley's passing was sad, but his family imagined that he was now reunited with the love of his life. He'd once spoken of enduring life alone now that she was gone. He said this in a rare moment of weakness, opening up to his granddaughter. He talked about wishing to be reunited with the woman who held his heart. This came after the authorities had ruled Grandma Conley's case as a disappearance and not death. So how did Mr. Conley know she wasn't on this earth anymore? Well, there wasn't any knowing now. Mr. Conley was gone. His name would be carried forward by the loving family he left behind. But although many of his family mourned him, a few others were more focused on uncovering the mystery behind his bedroom and the words he used to say when it came to losing his wife. Among this hidden number was Lena and her twin sister, Marion. Lena, the more adventurous of the two, decided to take matters into her own hands after their grandfather's passing. She'd always wanted to know what lay beyond that thick bedroom door. She'd gotten close once, but her grandpa had pulled her away, insisting that nothing but dust lay inside. Lena didn't buy it for a second. She was convinced something more awaited. She wouldn't rest until she uncovered it. On hearing of her grandpa's passing, she was struck by a pain like no other. Her grandpa had always been good to her, her sister, and everyone around him, but the pain took the back seat as curiosity overcame Lena. Little did she know that her decision to enter her grandpa's bedroom would lead her to a world-shattering revelation that would change their family's narrative forever. On that fateful day, with the weight of her grandfather's absence heavy on her heart, Lena decided to visit his home and gather some sentimental items for his wake. Her mom had tasked her with getting the items, but she knew this was a once-in-a-lifetime chance to get to the bottom of her grandpa's biggest mystery. Of course, finding the items was a task filled with nostalgia and sorrow, but little did she anticipate the discovery that awaited her behind the long, locked bedroom door. As she turned the doorknob and pushed the creaking door ajar, a wave of emotions rushed over Lena. Shrouded in darkness, the room held a solemn ambiance that made her uneasy. The furniture was from the late 20th century, with dust covering every inch of their surfaces. Ignoring the initial discomfort, Lena fumbled for the light switch, illuminating a space frozen in time. The room held memories Lena had never witnessed. Family photographs adorned the walls, capturing moments frozen in time, birthdays, holidays, and glimpses of her grandparents in their younger years. Among the images, one stood out, a picture of her grandparents, seemingly happy but with a tinge of sadness in their eyes. This photo would start the bitter truth, which Lena wasn't prepared for. Lena's eyes fixated on the bed, untouched for more than 2 decades. It was as if time had stood still in this room. The scent of nostalgia filled the air, and Lena couldn't shake the feeling that she was trespassing into a forbidden realm. Lena still needed to go to the other parts of the house to source the items that had brought her here, but she concluded that a little exploration here wouldn't hurt anyone. She took the photo to study it closely. She noted that, unlike the other portraits in the room, this one seemed to carry a lingering sadness. While the other photos were filled with smiles and happy faces, this one conveyed a message of unspoken torment. Neither Grandpa Conley nor Grandma Conley were smiling. They weren't standing close to each other like in the other photos, but that wasn't all. In this photo, Grandpa Conley's eyes were glossy, with what seemed like stemmed tears. This was an odd detail, given how the man had always presented himself. He'd never been one to show emotion or even consider it a good human trait. He was a stoic man through and through and maintained that was the best way to live life. But why did this picture betray his entire outlook? Lena couldn't explain it, but standing in the middle of the bedroom, she noticed a loose floorboard near the wall. The edges of the floorboard were clear of paint, indicating someone had been tampering with it from time to time. Intrigued, she knelt down and carefully pried it open. To her astonishment, a hidden compartment unveiled itself, containing a worn leather journal. The peculiar journal lay in the middle of the revealed hole. Around it were several pieces of old jewelry and what looked like letters. Dust had covered each of these items, showing just how long they'd lay hidden here. Lena reached for the pieces of jewelry first. She noted they were all feminine and concluded they belonged to her grandma. But even as she assessed them, she couldn't deny the fact that the journal was calling to her. She put everything aside and picked it up. The journal's pages were worn with age. Lena felt a surge of excitement mixed with trepidation as she opened it. The entries revealed the untold story of her grandparents' marriage. Godwin Conley's heart-wrenching confessions detailed his discovery of Grandma Conley's secret life, a double existence with another family miles away. Shocked, Lena flipped through pages filled with sorrow, anger, and a deep sense of betrayal. The truth unfolded like a dramatic novel. Grandma Conley had left abruptly after Godwin confronted her. Godwin, in an attempt to shield his family from the painful reality, staged her disappearance. As a man of influence, his word was enough to make everyone accept his situation. The town, oblivious to the family drama, believed in the tragic tale of a missing woman. Lena's grandpa, a master of deception, had kept this secret for nearly 2 decades. Lena's hands trembled as she reached the last entry, revealing the heartbreaking moment when Godwin chose to live the rest of his life without his beloved wife. The revelation weighed heavy on Lena's heart, and a mixture of empathy and anguish flooded her emotions. She couldn't stop shaking. Unable to contain her emotions, Lena dialed her sister, Marion, and her parents, sharing the shocking discovery. They collectively decided to bring closure to the long-standing case by allowing the authorities to take over. Lena knew it was time to reveal the truth to the town and let her grandmother's long-lost family know about her existence. A cascade of emotions enveloped the Conley family as they braced themselves for the aftermath of the revelation. The local police were called, and a detailed account of the hidden truth was provided. The town, once privy to only half the story, now stood witness to the unraveling of a complex family saga. News spread like wildfire, and the town's inhabitants grappled with the shock of the revelation. Lena, torn between the love for her grandparents and the need for truth, faced the scrutiny of curious onlookers. In the midst of it all, the Conley family stood united, supporting each other through the storm of emotions. Grandma Conley's second family, unaware of her past, was contacted, and a meeting was arranged. The reunion was bittersweet, marked by tears, apologies, and an acknowledgement of the tangled web of emotions that had ensnared both families for so long. As the truth unfolded, the town gradually embraced the Conley family's resilience in the face of adversity. The legacy of Mr. Godwin Conley became a tale of love, deception, and the strength to navigate the complexities of life. The once quiet town was forever changed, not by the disappearance of Grandma Conley, but by the revelation of the untold story that had been hidden in the shadows for over 19 years.